Where are you right now? I mean, obviously, how deep into that core did we have to get? Did we have to get into? I mean, I know we had a couple injuries, we had a couple mishaps.
We come to a situation, we've got a lot of good, hungry, talented, driven, fit players who are ready to compete and are playing at a very good level, but the team itself is, the plans that we had laid for 3 months, that shape just wasn't going to fit, and it wasn't going to fit the guys, and even more than that, it was going to evolve and change as the next 12, 16 weeks go on in the fall. And so as a staff and as a team, we've been trying to figure out, number one, who's ready to play right now. And the guys have done a great job of, and we've been playing 3 midfielders in the front line. And guys are just working, and we're just rotating 7, 8 guys. And you can't fault the players' work and their fight and their energy. And they're given a lot. We're just trying to figure out what fits, what works, what combination of guys, what shape makes the most sense. Where is the team? It's a team that's growing and trending in the right direction. Developmentally, we're on a good path, but you're playing against the best teams,
Sure.
and as a group, to their credit, I mean, they're reinventing who they are, and I like the progress, and the guys have done a great job just continuing to focus on the process, learn every day, improve, and that's kind of where we are.
One of the biggest factors in success or maybe starting off on a pace you don't want to, you put that schedule together 3 years ago, and your team has a completely different face 3 years ago than what I'm sure it did right now. In fact, your team has a different face 3 months ago than what it does right now. And those are factors that nobody ever sees on the final result on the field that day that have a completely different shape of the way not only your season goes, but that week, that your practices, and who you end up relying on to carry your team. And that's something that, you and I, as we discuss RPI scheduling and discuss trying to win at not only the regional and conference level, but at the national level, there are just so many factors. It's one thing for me as a younger coach finding out there's so many factors that go into it other than just playing the game.
Players want to play good games.
That's right.
Players don't want to play in bad games. And so when you make schedules for guys because they want to play against the best. You want to challenge yourself against the best. And that's how you know where you are, and that's how you realistically get prepared to get the things that you want, to get at large bids to the tournament, to get home games in the tournament, to get buys in the tournament in our sport, the way that it works. And if you realistically consider yourself to be and have aspirations to be a contender for the national championship, how are you going to win 5 or 6 of those games in a row if you've never played 5 or 6 of those games in a row? How do you even know? Yeah. And so, it's the reality of where you are.
And your guys know going in, you're going to come to VCU and in our program and your program as well. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you right out of the gate. You're going to play in regional and national competition right away because, like you said, to make it through in our sport and make it through regional into a super regional if you want to get to Omaha, you got to string together 6, 7, 8 games in a row against the best teams in the country. And if you've never played those teams, you're right. You're not going to know how to do that. But you start off 0-4, okay? Making sure that people understand it's not the end of the world. We're trending in the right direction. Sure. We're not conceding that we should have lost games. That's not the case. There's no moral victories.
Right.
Okay. But at the same time, this is a process. Okay. There are things, a bigger picture that we're looking into. There are outside circumstances. But when you're walking around campus, okay, and people say, hey, keep going, keep it up, it's not we are keeping it up. You know what I mean? We are going, we are doing our thing. There's no reason to feel negative about anything you're doing. You got to keep trending. You got to keep it on pace because, like you said, some of those guys, quite honestly, may not have been ready to play college soccer, and then have to play it at a top 10, top 25 level. I know we experienced that last year. We weren't ready to take college at bats. We weren't ready for it at the first half of the year. Our guys got into that. We were pretty good at the end of the year. So there is a progression, but it's tough. It's tough not to get caught. You want them to stay in the moment when you're playing, but they also got to understand the process of looking forward.
So many moments throughout the course of the game that as a player, as a coach, if you get really focused in on what the result at the end of the game is going to be, not only are you going to have anxiety, but you're not going to perform well. You're going to lose some of the focus on the little details. And we try to take it in a moment-by-moment approach to what we do and how we do it, and win each moment at a time. And at the end of the day, you don't know which moment is going to be the one that wins you the game, loses you the game, wins you the national championship, loses you the national championship. And so you got to play them all.
Sure.
And that process, it takes time. It takes time to get you psychologically and mentally to the point where, like you're saying, guys weren't ready to take college at bats, because every pitch is critical. And you got to take care of those details. Our game's no different. And again, it's easy to sit back and watch. It's hard for the kids and the coaches in their particular sports. You just got to stay in that moment and keep working. And I have total belief that the results will work themselves out based on the level of players that you have, if you can focus on the game that way.
You lose the game to a team like Stanford, who you in your opinion may end up winning the national championship, and you lost the game because you didn't do enough, not because they were Stanford.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that to me is the beauty of what is going on. And as a coach, when you believe in the process, it's the fact that you took the field knowing if you did enough, you would win the game.
And we will. And I agree with you. We got a lot of teams and programs here that operate that way.
Yeah.
And that's one of the great things I think about VCU and VCU athletics, specifically because of the area we live in.
Sure.
Is you have enough resources, tools, strength in this area that if we perform to the best of our ability, in whether it's players on the field, the coaches in recruiting, whatever it is, we got a chance to win every single game and compete for a national championship. And that's not every place is that way. And it's a lot of fun to go to work somewhere where it is that way. And it's not just with one person. I can chat in the hallway with different coaches, and we, a lot of us feel very much the same.
I think sometimes it gets lost on how far you have to come to get to that mindset. You know what I mean? Like you talked about it over the last 5 years. It takes a long time to get to that, and that I think is some of our, our best victories that we've had here as a department. Not only your program, my program, basketball, field hockey, lacrosse will experience at some point, the volleyball. Is that mentality of if we do enough, if we are good on this day, if we play the way we need to play, we're going to win. We're not going to lose to the jersey anymore. We'll take kids from Mechanicsville, Virginia, or Powhatan, Virginia. We'll fly them across the country. We'll go play Pepperdine or Long Beach State. And playing at Pepperdine, that don't faze them. But seeing an In-N-Out burger, they go crazy. They heard about that. They heard about that on TV, or that or passing Disneyland or something like that. Because they've never been east or west past the Mississippi. Many of them, it's first time flying. We've had several guys first time flying. We go across country, and I'm handing them the vomit bag, and stuff like that. So I'm sure when you're dealing with that many guys from different places, although a lot of them probably flew to get here, it's got to be the same thing.
Everything's new, right? Everything's new, and
dinner.
You're just sitting there, and guys are looking around like, man, this is amazing, and obviously.
Makes it nice, the opportunity.
It does. Yeah. You and I are coaches. And so, so much of what we do from the outside perspective and has to do with how's your team? Do you win? Do you lose? How many guys or how many girls, get this award or that award? But we're teachers, right? And that's what we do. We're educators. And you educate kids in what I think is an incredibly important time of their life. And those experiences oftentimes exist beyond the classroom. I mean, I think back to my time as a student athlete, and I hope none of my professors watch this, but I couldn't tell you too many things I learned in the classroom.
That's right.
But I could tell you a lot of things that I learned about life in different aspects of that experience. And so, this past weekend was a good example. We go and we play two of the best teams in the country. You get on a plane, and you're right, some of the guys maybe have never flown to the West Coast. They've never been on a plane before. Sure. Certainly, I don't think any, but maybe one or two had ever been to San Francisco. You'd never been to Stanford or Cal. And, I think part of you has a responsibility as an educator, and you're looking at the experience those student athletes are having to make sure that students have those kind of experiences, to see different things in the world, to have different exposure to different things, to maybe channel a new opportunity or a new pathway for them. One of our goalkeepers is doing his PhD in biomedical engineering, and
that was what I got mine in.
But yeah, me too. So before the trip, in the summer, we were chatting about, maybe he'll communicate with one of the professors out there and look at just
Sure.
some. It's just so many different opportunities and things that are there for our student athletes, and there's so many neat kids in our department that, it's nice when you have a chance to visibly see some of the other ways that they're impacted, other than just on the field, Friday night, on the court, Wednesday night, whatever it is. Those pieces are nice.
I appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you out there this weekend. We'll catch you this weekend.
Sounds good, buddy.